So we are back, Soul Survivors. How's everybody doing today? I'm setting everything up, getting ready to chit chat about whatever you guys would like to talk about. But we're going to talk about the loneliness epidemic. What is going on? How narcissists destroy people's lives and why they do that. Why do they pick good people? So if you think about it, good people a lot of times are very helpful, willing to sacrifice and do things for others. And it's just an easy target for the narcissist. Let me see if I can clear that off a little bit. But there we go. So I'm hoping that you guys will open up, share some of your stories, help validate other people what they're going through. But I know some of us are really struggling. And I got a message from a beautiful viewer who might be logging in pretty soon. And, there's times that it can feel overwhelming. And the C-PTSD that we go through, there's things going on in our brain. Hello, Country Strong. I love that name. And Joey and Dom is here. Did I say that right? And Ashley, good to have everybody. So I don't know, my battery died on my one phone, but it can become overwhelming. A lot of it's because of the brain damage that's been caused. So we got Thomas and Mikey still trying to load up Facebook, but Mick is here. And it's kind of a scary world out there. There was one lady who she's homeless and she's asking for donations on her TikTok, but people have been offering to send her money and all these kind of things. And it's that scary that sometimes when you're down and out, it's even hard to accept help. So, having good friendships and building relationships sometimes can save your life as you're going through the difficult times. I know I've had times where I had to rely on family. I've been very blessed with that. But when you deal with a narcissist, a lot of times that they will isolate you. And we got people joining in. Feel free to say hi. And there we go. Awesome. Because there's something with the brain chemistry. And also they talk about hurting people. And sometimes we over rely on people, push people away. So it's this vicious cycle that needs to be addressed. And I know, I was just reading this thing on low self-esteem and some of the things that people do. It's really interesting how a lot of our behaviors are universal across people. And there comes a time where, they always talk about the narcissist as you're too sensitive. And I do kind of want to go over that because we do get into a point of time where we are very sensitive. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you. It's what you're going through. Hopefully you have people to support you. But there's times that we can accept that. That's who I am. Is going to push people away. And, there's a strength in this that we're learning. And it's part of the boundary setting. And that helps give us power. It helps keep us control our environment so it's safer for us. And there are times that we have to walk away. One of my viewers is still at home though. And there's times that it's not easy to walk away, or you're in a marriage or trying to cohabitate and raise children together. So the CPTSD that goes on will cause you to react a certain way and to communicate a certain way. And I know thank you for liking the live, Mimi. Good to have you here. I know I have over-explained my feelings sometimes where I have, I'll make a statement and then I add on to it. When you add that on, especially with a narcissist, that's their tools to weaponize against you. So when you say, I'd like you to call more because I feel this. I feel it, but they take that as you trying to control them. And a lot of times we share our feelings because we're empathetic and we're trying to tell people how we feel because we are where we would listen and try to comfort them. But the narcissist is different. They communicate. Thank you for liking the live. We're opening it up to whatever you guys would like to talk about, but we're kind of talking about the loneliness epidemic. And so many of us, I'm so blessed that you guys are here. I'd love to be available for you guys. I try to log in every day, but I'm the second best option. I am not the best option because it's not face-to-face interaction. And it is important to have those hugs or those high fives to connect with people. And thank you for the like. I can't see your face yet. I think there's delay. But I'm glad you guys are here to say today was the last day, Mimi. The last day of being sad? What's today? The last day of what? I know you're struggling today. You sent me a message. And Debbie is here. Debbie, you say I'm not really here. I have my grandson tonight. Well, it's nice. Thank you for helping with the minutes. I hope everything's going better for you too, Debbie. And thank you for your support. You guys are very wonderful to me. And thank you for the follows. Hey, True Blue, not today was the last day of at your school. Okay, so Mimi is changing schools. And the thing is, there's certain times of life that are very stressful, whether it's, they talk about death of a family member or a divorce, moving, getting a new house. And it can be very stressful to change schools, change jobs. And how do we handle this stress? So you say 360, please. When I get my goal, I will do a 360 for you. How's that? Just got out of the shower, so you guys have me till my hair dries or until I get too tired. Mimi says, but good thing is my ear is so much better. Yeah, you got to look at the positive side. She's been struggling with an ear infection, and that can bring you down. I know I've been struggling. Took another nap. I slept. I went to work and came home, and thank you for the like. I came home, took a nap, woke up, took a shower, wanted to say hi to you guys, and then I'll go straight back to bed. Sometimes our body is telling us something, and True Blue says, before I head to the gym, please. Well, go ahead. It's only $2. So we'll see if I get my goal. Mimi says, LOL, I was crying all day today. And it's sometimes good to cry, but we don't want to get stuck in that mode. When we cry, it's releasing. It's kind of self-soothing in a way. It's managing our emotions. I went to this deliverance. Debbie says I'm here, but not 100%. I have my grandson tonight, and enjoy it. Enjoy it. Thank you for logging in and the like, but I appreciate that. I'm trying to get those minutes up and more subscribers and followers. The more people in the chat, the more people that come. So it's kind of like a snowball where you guys can have better topics and conversations. So Mimi, what was it that made you cry today? Not even for my birthday. True Blue, it's not your birthday today. Is it really your birthday? So I did just do a birthday one. Tim is here, and I'd like to open it up though, leaving your old teacher. So it sounds like you had a good connection, and some people are meant to stay in our lives, and some, we can carry on in our hearts, and that's hard. I know when you deal with like narcissistic abuse, sometimes grieving a person that's still alive is kind of more difficult sometimes than grieving somebody who's passed on, because it's almost like our brain doesn't make sense of it. This person's here, but there's no connection, and it's like a really odd feeling. But there's times that we had to be thankful for what we had. We all have different walks in life. Sometimes breaking free, branching out brings us blessings that we don't even know. I've had a couple incidences in my life where it was pretty devastating, but it actually turned out to be better. Also, we talk about, I'm blessed to have a lake house, and, there's other houses that I looked at, kind of anxious to get into a new house. And there's some great ones, but it wasn't 100% what I wanted. And, sometimes when we get too anxious, we miss out on blessings. So I got lucky, and it just worked out this way. It's your birthday. I'm not sure if it's your birthday today. So Mimi says, I'm just empty, not sad or happy. And yeah, it's interesting. When we go through traumas, it's, some brain cells die, and it's almost like our body can feel that emptiness, and we have to like refill it. They talk about the hole in my love cup. Our body is searching for something, and it's trying to fill that hole, and that hole is what motivates us, but sometimes it tears us down too. So we're kind of at a fork in the road. Do we just go down this road of self-pity and sadness, or do we take charge and put that into emotion? So True Blue, I'm not sure if it's your birthday, but when I get my goal, it's only $2. I'll do that for you. It's your 21st birthday. I thought your 21st birthday was yesterday. You're confusing me. I sang a song, didn't I? You want me to sing you a birthday song? That I do. So, you know, I've been really thinking about like the way I communicate, the way I handle certain things, and why I say what I say. And they were talking about the narcissist. That they know what they did. It's a conscious decision. Sometimes it's not conscious. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is in reaction to their abuse. But they've also like come to such a different state of mind, that they're hardened, they're self-absorbed, and sometimes entitled. Where do they get that from? What does it say? Yo, I see you joining. But words can really matter. And when we're trying to express ourselves, sometimes we just need to keep it simple. Sometimes we make it much more difficult because we're over explaining, and we're over explaining because we haven't felt heard in so long. But that becomes overwhelming to other people too. And we also have to understand, there's people that care about us, but they have a different perception on things, and they might not care as much as we think. But to just let people show up how they're going to show up. And if they're not going to show up, that, free that time up to connect with other people. Mimi says, my 17th birthday is in 60 days. I will definitely be celebrating with you. We'll be singing a song, and brighter days ahead. So that's something to look forward to. And talking about like birthdays and traditions kind of help us. They kind of ground us, give us a reason to get back together with our families. But narcissists, though, it can be difficult during those times. That the narcissist loves to destroy birthdays and holidays, and sometimes it's confusing. I got new messages coming in. Just so you guys know, I got 3 platforms open up so we can keep the conversation going. Feel free to join in. I'm really good at handling different conversations at once, because we all have a story, and sometimes just being heard. Because looking back on certain ways that I've communicated, is why am I over communicating? And, with the narcissist, you go through like years of how do I say this, and walking on those eggshells, trying to pick your words specifically. And Mimi says, I don't want to grow up. Can you tell me why? And that's kind of nice though, enjoy your childhood while you can. I was just talking to a student today about that. We're like, are you excited about the future? Like, there's a lot of responsibilities, but the more you prepare yourself every day, the better it gets. Ask questions, listen to your elders on their wisdom. I know I overlooked a lot of advice. Try to do your own research, and be proactive for yourself. Ask about interest rates and mortgages and patterns. And I think some of you know that my uncle won the Nobel Prize for the prediction on the housing boom or crash back in, I think, 2008. And I like to pick his brains on the economy. There's something coming up with the economy. But when certain little things are brought into your life, to take advantage of it, to learn from it. I know I grew up kind of naive, and, I had the perfect little upbringing, but that was to my detriment sometimes. And, we talk about the narcissist, how even sometimes compliments can be to a detriment. Sometimes people absorb certain things, and they feel that they have to be a certain way, and that connection might not be like their soul connection. It's from other people. There was just a cop on TikTok, and he's like, I'm only a cop because my uncle forced me into it. And, when we're in the younger stages, we feel guided or forced because we're used to being told what to do, or, you got to take people's advice with a grain of salt, that it has to be what fits for you. And Mike is here. Good to have you. But Mimi says, because I don't want to deal with bills, paying car insurance, etc. And you think about it, you go to school, and she's in high school right now. You go to school, And that's a responsibility. That's your job, but it's an unpaid job. So it's kind of exciting that if you take the time now to set the groundwork to get the best job, it's all going to fall into place. And there's a lot of freedom. It can be scary, but it's also really nice at the same time. You got, possibly a family to look forward to and adventures, and it's scary, but it's also going to be okay, but to take the time to develop friendships to people who are going to help you grow. Be careful with the people that you hang around with. They can bring you down or build you up. And there are times that you have to branch out and break off from some people. You want people with the same interests, people motivated. So, if you're hanging around with people that are nice but not motivated, they might drag you down. And you have to think, am I guiding my life in the way that I want? So I tell you guys, I'm a high school teacher, and this one kid, he's kind of going down the wrong path. He's recognizing it. He's recognizing that a lot of it deals with his social circle. And sometimes it gets tempting, or you get pushed into it. I went down to Florida, and they have alligators down there. I was scared to death about alligators. And we were supposed to be in this like rowboat. There was kayakers in our group. And so I didn't have a kayak. So I went in this really tiny rowboat. And it's kind of I guess like in between a river and a creek. It wasn't all that big. So it was super huge, and then it gets kind of small. A lot of greenery, whether it's like the brush or the seaweed, and the color alligators, all that kind of stuff. They have postings all over the place. Be careful, there's alligators in the water. But I was already terrified. And they're like, it'll be okay. Still not comfortable, but I'm in this boat, which really wouldn't protect me, but it protect me a little bit. And we're going down, but because there's 3 people in this little rowboat, it squished down and we were kind of stuck. So we had to get out and walk. And I was terrified, about to cry. And, I wanted to turn around, but I felt stuck, and I continued on with the trip. And luckily I'm okay. But, sometimes when we continue on, it could be terrible. And, we don't want to get in situations where we're stuck. Hi from Texas. You have a lovely smile and a great personality. Awesome aura. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. JM. Mimi says, because you don't want to pay bills. I get it. I don't want to either. But I have a car, and I can, get what I need. If I need to go to the store, or I told you guys I had to go to the hospital, I was able to do that. I didn't have to wonder. Ron says, hey, why they try and ruin people's life, the powers that be. It ain't just terrible. I think it's, I do think there's something out in the spiritual realm. If you talk about, the good versus evil wants to win, so more people on your team. So the evil side is trying to get more good people to come over. So they're more empowered. There's a lot of temptations. It's hard. Is my my microphone's for the computer. I know it looks super huge, but my microphone wins exactly. Hello. Fear of it. It ain't just terrible. Fear of it. What is it? Fear of from the narcissist, or what do you mean? Fear of losing power. If that's what you mean, power prevails, and, you can choose the light or the dark side. And, there's all these things of temptation. We talk about like the change in JoJo Siwa, or even I like Taylor Swift, but there's some things I want to research on her. Supposedly she's a self-proclaimed witch. And you see the change of this, good little girl changing into this, kind of either sexual or kind of dark, because people are kind of drawn to that. It's like an adrenaline rush to be scared. And, we talk about healthy relationships, the safety of it. And, you go on a roller coaster. Is a roller coaster necessarily safe? There's some safety to it, but it's that thrill of am I going to make it through? So it's like tempting. But Mimi says, I got to go. Hopefully you'll still be here. I love you too. I love you too. San Diego, California. Nice to have you here. And, oh, Mimi. If I die young, just know I love you. Well, nope, you're not going to die young, but you can still love me. I love you too. And Madison, my husband cheated on me with a person of a different race. Is that a different race than what you are? I can't see what color you are. How do you feel about that? And Mimi says, I'm scared. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. And what's interesting too, though, is sometimes, they will go the exact opposite. If you're tall and thin, they'll be short and heavy, or dark hair. Now they want red hair. Sometimes, they'll even tell you like, oh, I hate redheads. And then all of a sudden they end up with one. I had, mine was like, I don't want a woman with kids. And I was pregnant with his kid. So we break up and he dates somebody with a kid. And we got back together. But it's like, you try to make sense of it. And, it doesn't make sense, but Mimi, I hope you check back in. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Where's your 360? Where's my goal? But so is that what you're talking about? Fear of missing out. We talk about like, the Catholic schoolgirl and how she becomes wild. And this is just like a stereotype. But why does that happen? And because sometimes when you can't live your authentic life, or you feel too pressured, too told what to do, it's almost like you explode and overcompensate. When you think of something exploding, it goes way out. It doesn't just open up and blossom. True blue is persistent. So, but yeah, I'd like to know, but why they try and ruin people's life. It's not necessarily that they're trying to, well, sometimes, okay, after like a discard, they will target. But if they're trying to like take somebody for all their money, they really don't think about what they're doing. Or if they do, it's at such a superficial level. And sometimes you'll see that where people try to justify it, where people navigate things to their situation. So, I've had people where they're like, I would never steal from a friend, but these big companies, like they can take the hit, so if I steal from them, it's okay. And, you got to be careful with that, because people start pushing their luck and doing that more and more. And, the level, so is it big corporate? Now it goes down to like gas station and mom and pop. And so then maybe if they need something, that they will just go after their friends, and people become entitled. They become used to certain things. That's why a lot of times too, when you're helping people and all of a sudden, true blue, I'm trying to talk at the same time, not ignoring you. We're in this instant gratification society. I get it. I'm kind of like that too. And that's why a lot of people have problems with text messages. And I just did this lesson today. I teach English as a second language. And in the lesson, it said in 1992, we got cell phones. And I was like, wait a sec. I was like, it was 1988 or 1989 when I had that big briefcase phone where it was like super huge, and the phone itself was like, you had to use a crane to lift it up to your head. It was like $1 something a minute, super expensive. $900 phone bills sometimes, hanging up on people when it got to 58 seconds. But it was like 88, 89. But the cell phones changed the way we communicate. So it used to be when I was growing up, like 14, 15, 16 years old, you would wait by the phone or you would just go live your life. You had to make that choice. And then they came out with the beepers where you could get a notification, which was nice. So you could call somebody back. You knew who was thinking about you. So you could go out a little bit. And then we got the answering machines. Answering machines were nice because, if you wanted to talk to someone or connect with someone, you both didn't have to be home at the same time. Now we have it where you can just reach out to someone, and people are getting their feelings hurt if somebody doesn't get back in just a few minutes. And we don't know what's going on. Sometimes somebody gets distracted, they start a conversation, and then they go do whatever they're doing. Also, you're like, I know you got my message, and then we get hurt if they don't get back within a certain amount of time. Also, people are overwhelmed by these kind of messages, and sometimes just ignore them. And being ignored is difficult to relationships. Jack says, nah, got to cut a few minutes to allow others to speak. And I agree. Does it say rambling on and on? What do you want to talk about? Tell me what you want to talk about, Jake. But as far as ignoring him, I've answered him several times about doing a 360. Turning around. I said, when I get my goal, it's only $2, and you guys can all join in and do that. So I did ignore him. I addressed it several times. Ron says it's a bad big. What do you mean by that? Oh, so you're talking about like sexual, not pretty, famous, not famous. Like the give and take. I'm not exactly sure. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hi, Chaco. Good to have you here. Some comments in the live are filtered. What are you guys saying? They're protecting the experience. Jake, what do you want to talk about? Open it up. I address, got to fit in. That's a big thing. People are motivated by trying to fit in. And, you see all these people becoming more eccentric or different. That is that truly who they are, or they're trying to connect to something? Are they searching? And right now in today's society, you got to be so careful about what you say. But I see people latching onto things during a stage of their life where they're not exactly sure which way to go, and they're trying to identify. And zombie hive mind. Some people just go with the flow. Sometimes too, you're supposed to be a cheerleader or a football star, or you're supposed to be a lawyer or a doctor. I was a little bit lost. I didn't know what to do. I was too sheltered, and it's a big scary world out there. So sometimes it's nice being sheltered, but life isn't all about being sheltered. You got to get out there. And I'm book smart, not street smart. And there's a balance in everything that we need. And nothing. You don't want to talk about anything? Okay, Jake. Is it because are you the one who is being filtered? Tell me. But good to have you here. I'm glad you're here. But we're just talking about whatever you guys would like to talk about. And during the brain fog that we get into. Have you guys ever been told that you were delusional? And you think about it, you're like, I asked every single question possible from all different angles. And that's where the gaslighting comes in. You can only make based on what you experience. And I know a lot of us have asked, like, what is going on? Or how do you feel about this? Or what do you think? And narcissistic abuse will do a number on your brain, but it's not hopeless. You got to do that neuroplasticity. You got to be mindful of things. And, sometimes we get so frustrated that we don't, how they say, hurt people. We don't want to damage relationships that we're building with other people, and also don't want to overwhelm them. But it is our brain trying to get back to homeostasis where we're comfortable again. And, I talk about like the broken leg, where we're focusing on the injured part. And we see that as the narcissist a lot of times, that we want to, those of you who ruminate and want to get back to that person, it's because you see that as your source of pain. And, if you have a sore shoulder, that's your source of pain. That's where you want to mend. And we have to realize that it's not the source of pain, it's what's causing the pain. And the narcissist is causing the pain to us emotionally. So we have to either deal with what is causing the pain or let it go, and the pain goes away. It takes time. But with a narcissist, you give them so many chances, and, we talk about the safety. What is safe? And, I see boundaries as a way that we keep our bodies and our minds safe, but it can be seen as controlling. There's also different ways to do it. If you're focusing on what you want them to do, that's manipulation and controlling. If you focus on your boundaries, if you're not going to call me once a week, then I have to go. I don't feel safe. If you're not going to reply to me, and we have to be reasonable about it too. I know, some people are like, I can't believe they didn't get back to me. It's been an hour, or people get so anxious. So we got to talk about attachment styles. What makes somebody safe? Ron says, why so-called society groups brainwash the ones you love romantically, and they start calling you a narcissist or saying you're a prick. You're a little spicy today with your words. So yeah, there's a lot of cults, brainwashing. They just want to manipulate. They want to make you feel a part of something. So they apply to, people who are a little bit broken. And there's nothing wrong about being broken, but it's better to be healed. And that's what I'm here for, is to help people heal, so you're not taken advantage of. I know when my father passed away, my mother was being hit up like crazy on Facebook. And they just know that when people are in an emotional state, they're a little bit more vulnerable. So, luckily she saw what they were doing. But, it was interesting too, when I was pregnant, I got hit on like crazy. I was pretty lucky. Like, I didn't look super pregnant, but the people that knew I was pregnant, it was crazy how much I got hit on. And, the damsel in distress, I wasn't asking for anybody, but it was something that kicked into the guys where it's like, oh, here's my in. She needs, because I was single at that time for half of the pregnancy, but they see it as an in. I can save her. I can do this. I can do that. It's interesting. So they start calling you a narcissist because sometimes it is the reactive abuse when you are trying to handle the situation. Sometimes people don't handle it the right way. They become in that state of need. They're not upholding the boundaries, so they're not safe, which brings them into that state of need. And being a narcissist is kind of like a little bit self-serving. And it doesn't mean, when you're going through something, if somebody cares about you, just like when you were dealing with your narcissist, you cared about them. You're like, what's going on? How can we make this better? They don't care about the making it better. Ron says, keywords, are you willing to be a part of something bigger than yourself? Oh, yeah. The goal, global control over certain people. Yeah. That's why you see so many people. It was interesting. Like, they had some riots going on, and I think it was Black Lives Matter. And I can't remember who it was. It wasn't Rodney King, but you saw these white people, and there's white people who are going to support Black Lives Matter. I am not discounting that at all, but it seemed people, because the white people were the ones who were super destructive, and it was kind of like they just wanted to jump on board. They saw it as an opportunity to run wild, burn cop cars, and do all this destructive stuff. And I just found it interesting that it was more white people being destructive. It was almost like their opportunity to just go wild. Were they really supporting the cause? And then, of course, you want to support in a safe way, not that way. But some people are good souls. Fear is a big control. I am well aware. And there's times. Hi, William. Good to have you here. Hello. Sometimes fear is good. I'm not going to rob a store because I don't want to get, fear is kind of keeping us safe. sometimes, or on the right path. But there are times that people use it to keep you stuck in a situation where you got to pick the lesser of two evils, and it's scary to be like that. So yeah, they can fear missing out, things like that. Well, if you don't do this right now, and you talk about like industrial psychology deals with like sales and how to workforce type stuff, but that is like the highest paying. And then you get into like drug and alcohol abuse counselors or family and marital, that those are some of the lower paid. So the higher paid deals with getting the most out of people, not healing people, but getting the most. They study, temperature and lighting and, the end caps at the stores, which place to do your high dollar items. And what is, hi, Mark, good to have you here. Hello, hey. Thank you, William, for liking the live. That helps get more people in the chat, gets the algorithm going. Run says some people want to let loose because they are tired of it. And well, this is my opportunity to get out. And, there's times people are sick of being controlled or want to be a part of something, or, you say, I've seen so much, the countryside looks more and more inviting. I know it does. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Mark, for the compliment. I appreciate that. And look at all that love. So, people a lot of times too, they're missing something, or they're bored, or they're overwhelmed at work, or they don't have the family connections. And the loneliness epidemic that I was talking about today, sometimes too, it's the superficial connections. We have a lot of superficial connections. I gave the example of Taylor Swift that, as far as connections, like she goes traveling, and I don't know, as far as her specifically, it's just an analogy that, millions of people that she's meeting, and, they're superficial connections. And, is she longing for these people? Probably not. She might have an enjoyable time with them, but I'm sure she's not longing for fan number 8,000. And that's kind of like the narcissist, is how they can come and go, is they stay at that superficial level. Now, if you connect with someone, there's probably some fans that she was able to connect with, to open up and talk and get deep and, understand, what are you scared about, or what's going on, or I feel so bad, to have a connection. Those are the people that ingrain in our memory that the narcissist or the dismissive avoidant, they don't like to get that deep. Ron says, just fish, grow my food, and pip onto a store here and there. I'll pop into a store here and there. I know, I live on a lake, and it'd be so nice, to survive and live off of it. I don't like fish. So I'll be popping into those stores too. But Mark, how was your day? And thank you, William. We got Bob joining, and it is currently 10:41. You guys are watching my hair dry before I go to bed, and that's when I know I got to log off. Run says, Taylor is an icon. They don't call it icon for nothing. She's guiding millions of girl teens and sub-teen. And Vestal is here. Vestal's been trying to touch base with me. Good to have you here. And it draws people in. Like, I think her following, for one thing, it's young. For the other, people want to go to these, they want to be a part. Because I like her. I don't know if you guys like her. I don't know her personality as a soul. Some people hate her, but it's interesting to see how big she got. And there's something to it, Also, the hate that she gets keeps her like relevant in the spotlight. So you say it's a skidding bop type of stuff. And music makes you feel a certain way. And Debbie Bletson, Debbie, I'm glad you logged in. This is my friend. Do you see this? Do you remember this right here? Debbie Blatstein, comment if you can hear me. You gave me this watch back in 1986, and I still love it. She gave me a Swatch watch for my 16th birthday. Or was it my 10th birthday? I can't remember. It might have been my 10th. But one of the two birthdays. But yeah, was it my 10th birthday? I'm trying to think now. But the Swatch watch was from Debbie. So thank you, Debbie. Now I'm starting to think, was it the 10th birthday? For some reason, I always thought it was the 16th, but you moved away, didn't you? When did you move? What year did you move? Do you remember? And so thank you. I remember exactly who gave it to me. And Run says, oh, okay. Or Vestal says, oh, okay. You study. What are you studying? What are you studying? I love studying on people's reactions, because it's really weird, the facial expressions that we do. They talk about the narcissistic smirk, and it's because they're like, either they don't want to hear it, or they don't care, or some of their smirks too are like that excitement over the power. They love to manipulate your emotions, and the negative and positive sometimes has the same effect on the brain, that they just want that effect on their brain. And it's easier to instill pain in somebody, and that shows power. The weaker person. Remember to read. It is important to read. I don't like reading stories. I'm not so much into like just love stories or books. Like, I like to learn relevant stuff. I like to learn true stuff, but some people like to escape, and that's okay. Some people get certain feelings when they read. And hi there, Sunshine. Hello to you. Nice to have you. Vestal says Bible, among other things. They did a study where if you read your Bible 3 times a week, that's nice. But if you read it 4 times, and if you read your Bible 4 times a week, that it actually does stuff where the people were less anxious and the people were happier. And there's something to it where it's almost like a routine and almost in your daily life. When you are lukewarm in that, you're not going to get the benefits, almost like exercise. It's like a mental exercise that, I walked a little bit today. Did I really help my heart? Did I really tone up my muscles? No, I just did a little bit. I was just at work. So the more you do that, and then there's also a burnout rate to where, moderation. And sometimes you have to put into motion the things that you're learning too. Vestal says, number is just the word number spell. Numbre is just, Ramsey. Okay. So Vestal says NUMBRE is just the word number spelled differently. Our brain will sometimes change it. So, if you spell it a certain way, people can still communicate. We get the gist of it. And Ron says Jojo Siwa is rude, but she's human, like all others. She diagnosed technically with mental stuff. Not all her fault. She likes gals. She almost was guided by conditioning. She was on the Dance Moms. So yeah, she is human. We should show her some compassion. So when you say she diagnosed technically with mental stuff, are you saying she self-diagnosed, or I haven't found anything on a diagnosis? I've looked it up, and from my research, I haven't seen anything. But there's something to the way that she was treated, I believe. Numbers says paranoid personality. As far as what, Jojo Siwa, or that's what you would like to talk about? And we'll get into the paranoid personality. She was diagnosed, so-called, with something mentally. By who? By who? A psychiatrist, psychologist? But you got to think about everything that she went through. She was not heard. She tried saying when she was uncomfortable. Abby didn't want to hear it, her dance coach. She had the mom interact. So she felt helpless, kind of like, nobody's hearing me. Maybe they'll hear my mom. So sometimes you get some codependency going on. Also, she was thankful. for the way that Abby treated her. Abby was terrible to her. There's ways to motivate someone, but she did it in the, you're a piece of crap, you suck at dancing. And so she had to like prove, no, I'm good. So her whole life is going to be, you know, you're mean to me, so I'm going to prove that I'm not this bad person. And she says it. Okay, I think she has said something like with like anxiety or something like that. But she's kind of going different, trying to find herself. And I don't know, like I'm a little worried about her, you know. And she seems to have a lot of identity in her sexuality. I don't sit here every day and go, I'm heterosexual, and he talked to me, and you know, so yeah, the word is realization. So I think that, you know, how we talked about people wanting to join something, I think it's like, well, shock and awe, or I'm different, but I want you to accept it. And with this movement, she's clinging onto this movement to, that's her identity now. It's not, like, I really don't think about my sexuality every day. What am I, and who do I like, and on. You know, and her videos are very sexual too. And there's, you know, it's not like the sexy way either. It's like the shock and awe kind of way. And it's programmed, you know, sex sells. So that's probably part of it. William says, see you later. Okay. All right, William, thank you for coming here, though. It's so nice to see you. Hopefully you'll be in tomorrow night. I'll be logging in tomorrow. So number says narcissistic personality, histrionic. Amber Heard was histrionic. Obsessive compulsive personality, avoidant. Yeah. Avoidant personality, dependent. Yeah. Avoidant and dependent kind of go together. It's crazy. I think about religion a lot, and I want to get into that more. What time tomorrow? Probably about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, William. I would love to have you on. I don't work on Friday, so I probably 9 till midnight Eastern Standard Time. Can you ask TikTok needs to what? Do they filter that out? I know when I went to China, we had to be really careful talking about certain things. And is TikTok still owned like Chinese? Yes, I would love to see you, William. So what do you mean about, can I ask TikTok? Let me know, and I might be able to. Ron says, as much money can we make and make other women this way? Follow me. It's the way. So yeah, money, you know, you think about at a higher character limit. Yeah, I know. It's terrible that you can't get a full thought out. I agree. And if you guys, you know, just slam it, you can do 2, 3 at a time. But I know that's so frustrating. I don't think they will. They need to hand over TikTok to America. I know it gets a little scary. I'm sitting here like, yeah, you know, I'd love to retire. You guys have been supportive with your gifts, things like that, but it could be shut down at any time. Yeah. So, but once you start getting used to the attention, that it becomes addictive, you know, like you see her car. She's had at least 2 where they're all decked out in her face. I think she's cute, you know, but to put that all over your car, maybe, who knows, maybe it's because she loses it at the grocery store, and she, you know, I have a sparkle steering wheel cover so I can recognize my car. Maybe that's what it's all about. Ask YouTube to add a higher character limit. I agree. I think it's TikTok where at least they allow you on like your description to really have a good amount, but I agree. But yeah, we gotta make do with what they do. I don't think they'll change it. That way, you know, it doesn't bog down the response, so you can ask a question and answer back as opposed to writing a whole story. And then I get caught up in your story and I'm not seeing other people's. I think it's a balance that they think is best. They might adjust it a little bit, but be nice if you could do like 3-4 sentences at least. And so I also, just so you guys know, I'm also on YouTube. So I just got a message through YouTube. There's 200 characters, I think, through YouTube. So you can join me there too, if that helps. Ron says, what will you do for fame or money? Will you cheat on a guy that loves you? Yeah, they've had little things like that too. Will you become gay or bi? All experiments to see how strong on what side you are. It's programming. Yeah, people get tempted into things and they do break down their boundaries. They do things outside of their true self, and then it becomes a part of them. It's we talk about my degrees in criminal justice, and you'll be on YouTube, a soul survivor Cynthia, SOUL, a soul survivor Cynthia. So that might help. And ask you to, oh yeah, it hurts really bad. It does hurt. Manipulation happens to people. And that's where we have to start seeing the red flags. A lot of us repeat the same patterns ourselves. We are still connected to the narcissist. And, when we're broken down after we've gone through that kind of abuse, that, we're like, I'm loved again. And even if you break free, manipulation happens to people. A lot of times you don't see it coming because we're trusting in people. So what are the statistics? I might know the statistics. Tell me what statistics you're talking about. As far as what? There's a lot of statistics on different things. So some I know off of my head. Let me know what you are asking. And is it Buckbick? What are the literature? As far as what though? There's so many topics I cover. The narcissistic abuse, the divorce rate, and also they talk about the generational trauma, and some people overcompensate. So they're actually causing trauma again. And, I want to get into the spiritual thing because all this destroys families. It destroys families. It destroys relationships. People nowadays are giving up at the drop of a hat. Are some, and they talk about the narcissist. There's give and take. When do we support someone? When do we help them? When do we give up on somebody? And it's all that evil stuff. Abnormal psychology, the statistics to psychology. I love abnormal psychology. So that's, like the DSM-5 is like how thick. I have it in my house. Where is it? But, statistically, unfortunately, different countries and different studies and all that. But what is the biggest word that can be spelled on live time? On live YouTube. The biggest word is like, what is it? 2,000 characters. There's some crazy word out there, but anti-disestablishmentarianism. You can do that one. Was like one of the biggest words for a long time. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. So internet addiction, 6 hours. Yeah, people spend a lot of time. Also, people when their battery gets low, that they start having anxiety. If it goes, 20% or something like that, people start going in panic mode. Ron says narcissists with money, big money, conditioned through power. Sometimes it's all tied to pain they experienced as well as creating it for others. Multiple schoolmates I know is like this. This hurt me bad. Anti-disestablishment and you didn't spell it right though. I don't think you spelled it. Yeah, I don't think it's authoritarianism, but close. Like anterianism. But we got Snow Dog. Do you like snow? I live in Michigan and I don't like the snow. Snow's pretty. It's the key root. Okay. Am I bipolar? I'm going to ask you why you asked that. Why you asked that, and then I'll tell you. So I'm curious why you asked that. So I know as far as like narcissism, they say like 1%, 1 to 5%. And then, others will say 20 to 25% of the population. And they also say, it's higher male versus female, but now it's starting to change to more females are becoming narcissists, and it's starting to be like a 50-50 kind of balance. I think it's something with the masculine feminine energy, the way that we're raising our children. We're doing a more gender neutral, or they can pick, all those kind of things. And I think there's something with borderline and narcissistic personality. It's almost like, how men and women are almost like opposites. It's like the same thing, but different. Like we're human, but different. What other words are in the dictionary? Memes? Run, guess gotta be a little more specific. Are you just saying things, or are you? Run says everyone is narcissistic, but when you go down to a certain level, you are evil. Yeah, just like eating, we can all eat. Others can indulge or not eat enough. Is there something wrong for standing up for yourself? Sometimes we have to. Is it selfish for me to go away to college? There's times you gotta, mom's crying. Do I leave? Do I stay? But there's times that you kind of have to take care of yourself too. And, sometimes it's survival, but when you handle it in such a way, so memes are jokes. And this is the thing, like with some of the jumping on the bandwagon with memes and stuff that, people don't understand how that can hurt. There are some, I get why people think they're funny, but they'll take an actual human being and, if that human being sees it, or their people in their circle. Sometimes we get programmed to where, like people my age, our world was smaller. You could talk about, I don't know, some stranger and they'd never know about it. So you're like, well, they're not going to get hurt. But now with the internet, it goes worldwide sometimes, and people are getting hurt. And, we have to be more mindful of things like that, even if it is funny, that it's also hurtful. So sometimes we have to take that other step. The narcissist doesn't like to take that other step. They also get a kick out of seeing people in pain, which is really interesting, or certain accidents. They think these horrible accidents are funny. Ron says, just like AI apps and picture AI manipulation, created to do some can move and run away from world action they want to create. So yeah, they can manipulate through AI. I see that about to really take off in the next 5-10 years, that we're not going to know what reality is. They're going to manipulate us into thinking certain things, because that's why, I've been asked several times, who will I vote for? And I haven't told people that, because I want you guys to make your decision, not to be like, oh yeah, like I think she's smart, I'll vote for who she thinks. But people connect with certain people and they follow certain things based on somebody's credibility, whether it's Kamala Harris or Trump or Fauci or whoever it is that you might think is intelligent, that you're going to put your thoughts because of them. And, we're not going to know who the credible sources are, because they're going to say something, just like my TikToker, who his name is like TikTok News Alert or something. So it looks legit. And he had said, President Trump, and this is not true, but he said that he was found dead in his hotel room. And you got to fact check stuff, because sometimes you're like, what? And, he was trying to say a bunch of different things, but there's times that it looks legit, on some of these pictures. So Run says pre-recorded all kinds of stuff. There is, Vestal says there is the Discordian who sends memes about Islam. And you say, I am not Muslim. By the way, I am Christian. I am Christian too. Run says, not it real now. Yeah, I don't know. Vestal says the name of these person's account would be offensive. There are some very offensive names. There's one and that's the thing, people try to be funny. There's one name, actually a couple, but one extreme name, where they're trying to get me something that could get me restricted. And, luckily I'm a high school teacher and I can kind of see through the childish games. But, I've been spending like 2.5 years building my channels, and, to say something that I just read because it's their name and I didn't take the time to process it can get me shut down, and they don't think like what they're possibly costing me. They think it's like a 10-second joke. People don't always think ahead, and Unknown says you are beautiful for an older woman. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's called a sliding deception. Yeah, they try to slide in. And Vestal says, if people want to know about Islam, there are websites. What is it that is touching your heart about Islam? There's something on your mind about Islam. But thank you so much for that. Look at all that heart. Nothing. And there's, good and bad in some religions. There's, you really got to research what religion that you connect to really know what the things mean. I know some, even like I said, I'm Christian, but even some Christians will bend or twist or misinterpret things. And Jim says, do you wear your hair down in class? Yes, I do. Because part of it, I tried wearing it up. I put it in a ponytail last week, but when I take my glasses on and off, it interrupts with, like putting it up. So yeah, I just wear it down and it kind of gets in the way, but I'm combing it. I'm brushing it because, trying to get it to dry so I can go to bed. Also trying to help it grow and get a little smoother. So if I had a teacher as beautiful as you, I would have gone to school more. And Sparky is here. Hello, Sparky. And unknown soldier. I didn't see the soldier part. Were you a soldier? Are you still in the services? Oh, that's a cool name. And we got to think about the unknown soldiers. It's nice that they give, due credit to, marriage. What about are you talking about the manipulation in marriage, where I know some churches are, till death do us part, and I don't think God means, let the person kill you. Vestal says the view on marriage of Islam would be considered taboo. Run says Satan, Maine. You're talking about Maine? My hair? What do you mean by Maine? Jim says new credit. Yeah, we got a little edit going on. If I had a teacher as beautiful as you, I'd still be in school. Well, thank you. Yep, I appreciate that. You guys are saying. Vestal says 6'9". You're just being naughty. Aisha? I don't know what you're talking about. And Ken is here. What about Aisha? Who's Aisha? You guys get me confused sometimes. Vestal says she's Muhammad's wife. I did not know that. I don't know. Yeah, I taught at a Muslim school for a little bit, and I ended up leaving just because, I wanted to be respectful. I try not to judge people on what they're doing, but if it's against what I believe, I had a hard time encouraging it because I really cared about these kids. And okay, I'll look it up. But they were really kind people. But you have your extremists and all that. But it's nice. It's nice to me. Nice to have you. Unknown says, can I come over for some one-on-one extra help? Just kidding. I do one-on-ones though. For anybody who's interested, I am a certified life coach and relationship expert and trauma informed. So there are times that, just having the right person to listen and work through things. So I'll give myself a little plug. One-on-ones sometimes are helpful, sometimes just getting it out, speaking, having somebody with a different perspective. I know sometimes in our circle of friends or family, people have certain views on it. It's nice to have somebody who, doesn't get defensive, where you can share your story, your truth, and go from there. Because, we talk about like, meeting people where they're at, and that's how you're going to be able to help people. Also realizing what their truth is and how to help them see the exact full picture. And Rocco is here. Vestal says, strange things, looked up, Hinduism has soma, which is a plant. Indra is a deity. Yeah. In my religion, there's one God in Jesus, I don't know anything about that. So, and that's the thing when we, let me read this verse. So when, as a Christian dealing with, no other God should come before me, and we kind of worship the narcissist, we kind of obsess over them, and that's like constantly on our mind. And that's why, is it like the evil taking over our mind to pull us away? So sometimes, I feel if you've been struggling with this, maybe you've been called, God's trying to bring you back. And, if you guys believe in God, God wants what's best for you. And sometimes, just like when we were growing up, if you had good parents, your parents didn't always give you what that you wanted, but a lot of times there was a purpose for it. So also be careful when you're praying that you pray for what's best for you. And, if you truly believe in your God, that they will do what's best. And you have to have that faith. So faith will get you by. Sometimes we try to control things that we shouldn't control. And that can lead us down to destruction. How many of you prayed to be with this narcissist or to make it last, or just have them come back for a little bit and then they break up with you again? Yeah, there's tons of gods out there that different people believe in. I was just talking about the waist beads. I knew nothing about them before, but the waist beads, they're supposed to be like some I don't know, like fertility, or, some people would use it for keeping their weight in control, because it would get a little tighter and then you would want to lose weight so it doesn't break it. But they were talking, that's also supposed to attract like sexuality. And, there's certain things that they talk about, like the yoga poses, and, those are, yeah, there's so much to talk about. And Marvin is here. So I need to know what you guys want to hear about. Sometimes I will just branch out and say certain things. Bible teachings are older. Math, nature, history. And how do you guys feel about living on other planets? I don't know. They just had this right before I logged in with you guys. They were talking about, the people out in space. Now they have some new space suit. It's like pressurized or whatever for people to go out in space, and they're just going to let your lay people do that. And they're talking about really trying to get people on another planet. And, when things are so unnatural or so forced to where, you'd have to live, wear this like crazy suit and do that, you had the resources, and people are searching for something different. We have pretty much all the resources that we need if we utilize them correctly. It's really interesting also about how, people are starving, and, if there's cities where you can't even put a garden in your front yard, you can only put it in the backyard, and people in apartment complexes that they can't utilize any growing space, and we have enough resources, but we just have rules that aren't always helpful. Ryan is here. Vestal says, how many Bibles have you got Kid, nice to have you here. I'm a young college student and women don't want to date me because I don't have the white stuff. Should I start using and selling it? I need advice. Tell me what you feel. Tell me what you feel. I think you know the answer. And, that can give you heart attacks. It can give other people heart attacks. And, what's more important? Having a date and doing that to people. It's also a rough life. And I don't know if you're being sarcastic or really asking, but YouTube has a better comment section. So you're dead serious? Okay. So if you're dead serious, I will answer. Do we live that gangster life? And that is like such a dangerous life. That is such a dangerous life. And women only want where I live, the white stuff. So, you might want to think, am I in the right city? Is God or safety calling you outside of that situation? Are your opportunities, you think about all the gangs or people who do that. I've known several people who have died because of that kind of stuff, whether it's that type or other types. But you're playing with the devil, and that's, it's kind of like a low self-esteem thing, because you are a wonderful person just being you. And I'm being serious about this. Is people get caught up in this stuff where they feel I'm not good enough. Is that the kind of wife that you would want? It's going to eat through your money. She might die. It might cause birth defects if you guys have children. I don't know if you want to get married, but, are they going to be faithful? A lot of times that they're going to be tempted to do other things with other people. They, women, it's easier for women than men to use their body to get what they want. So, is she wanting to be with you or for other things? You want somebody to be with you for you. So I wouldn't risk my life. I wouldn't risk becoming addicted to anything. I wouldn't risk the sexually transmitted diseases that can happen. So, okay, so you said this is king where you live. And that's like, the whole reason I want to talk about the spiritual thing, that if you think about it, these people is king, which is like a god. And people are following this king or god. That's the ruler of their life. And is that ruler taking them to a healthy, happy life? Or is it a controlled life, a destructive life? So even if it is king, it's not the king or the god that I would want to follow. So I want the women, you'll be shocked at the women that want it. A lot of them, they can be beautiful, a lot of women are beautiful, but sometimes too, they might put the extra attention in. They might wear like the sexy outfits, a little extra makeup, or their hair done a certain way so they can seduce you. Some are just strung out, so they won't look as beautiful as they could, but it's manipulation. They're going to want what they want. They're going to either use their body, use their beauty because it works. And kid, you say, And I noticed you said plural. And this is, sometimes we're like, whoa, there's all these beautiful women. They're also probably thinner. Society is still, it depends on who you are, but sometimes, they see the thin women. That's a side effect. So are they healthier? They're killing themselves. And so Vestal says spirituality is important because it is needed according to Matthew 5:3. Run says, run away from the cult, gang life, show respect, but take your soul and life away from it. Yeah, you're being tempted. We talk about good versus evil. Do you see good in that? You see maybe 20 minutes of fun. She's not going to stick by you. She's going to use you. And you say women, so it doesn't sound like you're like, I think Melissa's so pretty and so kind. You're like, I just want a girl. And so when we bring our self-esteem up, knowing what we deserve, it's desire, big gal, small gal. It depends on the person. It does depend on the person. Why are 49.7% of Americans addicts? A lot of people are trying to numb themselves, whether it's, that kind of stuff or alcohol. But a lot of people are just running from the pain. They're not taking the time, or they're so down into the rabbit hole that they're not climbing out of it. It's difficult to do. It does stuff to your brain, which makes it even harder. And what denomination is everyone here? So Vestal is asking if you guys want to share. I know I have a Jewish person here and Christian. 10% of Americans have OCD. They were saying that OCD, and I got to double research it, but they were saying that is the most prevalent mental illness is OCD. So, and that's like, Run, what's up? Run says that they care, they will call you or find a way to warn you. If who cares? So Vestal says 8% children diagnosed with ADHD. And autism is way on the rise too. And then you got your odd ADHD, which is a mixture of them. And 2% of adults have ADHD. I want to double check that. I forgot to get the statistics on it because it seems like it's way more than that. But, if it's, and we got Jerome joining us, and Kid says, I hung out with one for a while. She was a straight narcissist. And this is somebody who was doing that. She used to do the humiliating innuendo, texting me cryptic messages about how she's sleeping with other guys that had that stuff. She might see a weakness in you. She might see that you kind of want to be with her, and she might be trying to get you to be jealous. She might also try to be telling you, I'll put out if you get me the stuff. There's hidden messages in what people say. But, think about your sexual health. Is that a smart thing to go down? And, you think about it too, you're a little bit choosier when, like if she wanted a romantic relationship with these people, you're going to choose a higher quality person, but she's just picking anybody. And kids, seductive, perverted is histrionic. Histrionic, narcissistic, borderline, just self-serving. So she's not going to care. And, she has any diseases, she's not going to tell you. She's not going to care. And, protection doesn't always protect you. We'll just put it that way. What are you going to do if she gets pregnant? And the heartbreak, the chances of her staying are pretty low. are pretty low. She's, once your money runs out, that's just pretty expensive. Once the money runs out, she's going to go on to the next person. And, what if, I don't know, what if you had to go out of town for something for a week and she had her little need for a fix? She's, going to be with somebody else. And, just little heartbreaks, and you're setting yourself up for more pain. And the more pain that you set yourself up for, the lower your self-esteem might be. And then you're going to be going down, searching and trying, now 2 women, now 3 women. Maybe you'll get, what are the differences between the differences deal with sometimes the triggers, the way people handle it, the causes sometimes, it's throughout life what works. And sometimes it gets confusing because our histrionics, perverts. So I'm glad you brought that up. Where did that go? Are histrionics perverts compared to narcissists? That's a tough one. I think the histrionics would do more. The narcissist might want more. So I think the histrionics would please more in that aspect, and the narcissist gets a power over doing the perverted things. Does that make sense? Real deal. Good to have you here. How do you save the children from that statistic? Social workers, law enforcement are being manipulated. What's the next step? I am out of that house, but the small children remain in that toxic family. That's hard. That is so hard. It's good to have them in counseling. It's good to have them know that it is not their job to save mommy or whoever it is. And kids take that on. Kids want to please their parents. And, sometimes, going to church and or whatever works for you. But, maybe even have them think through that. Mommy called me ugly. Let's think about that. Do you think you're ugly? And what about your beautiful this? Or we're all different. And, teaching them to know who they are. So, and people yelling, what sucks is when people yell like that, it does cause brain damage. And, so we definitely do have problems in the relationships, friendships, and introversion has what values? Introversion, when you're kind of a little bit more quiet, it's either giving up or keeping yourself safe. It's missing out on life. People who are workaholics or, are my glasses real? Yeah, you can't see I need them to read, if that's what you mean. So yeah, they're just the little cheapy ones that I got at the Dollar Tree, but I do need them to read it. They're not like glamour ones, I do need them. I wish I didn't. So is that what you meant? Are they like just glamour ones, or what's the difference between sociopaths and narcissists? It's almost like the sociopath is a step up, a little bit more dangerous, less caring. So the narcissist can have some empathy or utilize the cognitive empathy. The sociopath just doesn't care. And what's interesting is, if I was to yawn and I'm around a sociopath, a lot of times they will not yawn as well. Have you guys ever had that where it's kind of like that addictive yawn? People start yawning and you see this chain reaction of everybody yawning. It's almost like that empathy, that connection. But the sociopath, they don't really do that. And you took a break. Good to have you here. What else? You're good at trigonometry. I am not. I am not perfect. You say no time to leave. What do you mean no time to leave? And my mommy is here. Hi, Mom. I do not have school on Friday, so I'm took a nap today. Got one more day of school and then a nice little Labor Day break. How's everything going with you? My poor mom, she's been going through some stressors. But Rick, I'd like no time to leave. What do you mean? Run says, no, they mold together. Calculus, we're talking about math. Mom, what was your favorite subject in school? What was your favorite subject? She's got a strong like science background. What was your favorite? I love you. Good night, Mommy. You gotta tell us. We're wondering what's your favorite subject in school. She's so sweet. She always checks. And Rick says if he doesn't. Oh, yeah. So time to leave. It's not smart. Don't even do it. Hopefully you're not going to be tempted that, maybe it's just not time to be with someone. Maybe it's time to let life happen. Maybe the right person, you just haven't met them yet. So sometimes we get lonely and we just want to latch onto someone. It's not necessarily the right person. I'd rather wait and be by myself than be with the wrong person or be with somebody who's going to financially ruin me or physically cause damage. So I appreciate your honesty. I'd like to know, Kit, how you feel about it. Do you think that would be the smartest? I hung out with one for a while. And yeah, so you know what a narcissist kid is, all the terrible things that person did. And the cryptic messages, the confusing reality, you don't know which way is up. You can't rely on them. And it's just crazy. What can schizophrenics do that normal people can't? Well, I do know that there's things that happen to them that don't happen to most people. Hearing the voices, things like that. They might have a higher vibrational kind of thing. But yeah, I agree. Ricky, no, if he doesn't, then it's time to leave because he's dangerous. You just don't. You got to be safe in life. Anyways. So yeah, Miss Common is here. Jorge, Francis. And that's kind of what I do is you just focus on, sometimes when you're at a crossroads, what is the wisest choice, or what would I tell a friend of mine? Would I encourage my friend to go down that road? They might be more creative. And so Vestal, do you struggle with schizophrenia? I think you're schizoaffective, if I remember right. I get confused on certain people. And Ricky says you're cute. Thank you. And Francis, good to have you here. We got Jimmy the Cricket. Jiminy Cricket. Been there, done that, Francis says. And yeah, how'd that turn out? Not always good, right? So taking the medications, how do you feel on them? Has that been helping you? I think Vestal, you and one other person, you guys are on at the same time, so it confuses me sometimes on who said what. Introverts or extroverts? So introverts, kind of more protecting. Extroverts are more searching. Sometimes the smile is heaven. Thank you, Rick. But yeah, we all have different personalities for a reason, and a lot of it is from our upbringing and things that have affected us over time. Sketchbook It's interesting to see what people are drawn to in their art. You can kind of tell somebody's personality by their art. Rick says, let me cook you dinner. What would you cook me for dinner? What would you cook me? I don't like fish. So you like the music genres and the type of music people are into? I'm starting to get tired, though. It's 11:32. Hair's still wet, though. Oh, my goodness. What was that, buzz? I heard a little something, too, but I don't know what it was. I don't know. It almost feels like something outside is going on. I don't know what that buzz was. Footballs? Are you going to cook me footballs? I drink a cup of coffee. Yeah. I like steak. I had steak last night. I love steak. Footballs. You're going to cook me footballs? What are footballs? I know that used to be a code word for something. Great job. I've been live for 90 minutes and my hair's still wet. But hello, Phil. You always log in when I'm about to go. I'm super tired. I cannot sleep through my alarm. I told you I did that once. But I'll let you guys, if you guys want to type in a topic before I log off, Phil, is there anything you would like to talk about? But drink a Monster. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I don't need to be wired. I need to get some sleep. So trying to take it easy on my body. I've still been struggling. I have another appointment September 11th to see why I'm so tired. Because I went to school, struggled through it, came home, took a 4.5 hour nap. I'd still be asleep, but I'm like, no, I'll log in with you guys. Footballs are potatoes. Oh, with seasoned hamburger meat in the center? I've never heard of that. That sounds fantastic. I bet that would be really good. Are they like baked potatoes? And is the meat crumbled or that sounds good. That sounds really good. Do you put cheese on top, sour cream? What do you do? How do you doctor it up? Or is that how it is? That sounds really good. Huh, I've never heard of that. Vestal says you have a medical condition having to do with sleep. I don't know. I had mono in 10th grade. And so I've always kind of struggled with being tired, but my body has been in a lot of pain. So it does sound delicious. It's a secret. I bet it's really good though. I am Depoke. It makes me sleepy. Oh, you are on. I think you pronounce it Depoke. Yeah. That's the one thing. Don't ever give me a medicine that makes me tired because I won't function. Does it make you feel better though? Is it important for you to be on that? Yeah, I struggle with being tired. Get to come over to find out. Got to come over. And where are you? Where are you? I don't even know where you are. But yeah, I'm getting super tired. So I will be logging on tomorrow. No pseudo seizures. Okay. So yeah, keep those seizures. You'd love to wine and dine me. Oh my goodness. It works. Well, guys, thank you for sharing your stories. I don't mean to cut you off. I know some people are still in the chat, but my body is saying it is time for sleep. So we'll see what happens with the hair tomorrow because it's not dry. So it'll probably be in the morning. The great state of North Carolina. North Carolina is beautiful. I've been there. Good night. Thank you for understanding, and I will see you in the next live. Feel free to hit that like button just so it helps with the algorithm, shows your support. One-on-ones are available. Topic requests are welcome. And Rick, thank you so much. See you guys. Thanks for joining in. Good night. All right. Good night, guys.